Hey everyone, I'm Jody Bader.
And I'm Sarah Martinez. We're Project Glad consultants and trainers from Washington State. Welcome to this short video tutorial on using a Project Glad strategy online. As you watch, feel free to reach out and connect with us or get some more tips from our website. You'll see the link below, nextstepsprojectglad.com. Enjoy. Today, we are going to give you some tips and tricks for using chants in an online format. And Jody's going to get us started.
Hi everybody, how are you today? Let's go ahead and move forward with some ideas that we have for chants and using them with online learning with various applications or learning management systems that you might have. Whoops, okay, there we go. The first tip that we have for you concerning chants and doing them online with your students is to go ahead and continue to stand when you're doing the chants. There's so much benefit to moving around in the classroom, bringing oxygen to the brain. That's going to help your students not be so sleepy and be able to pay attention. And this helps no matter where they are learning, whether it's in the regular classroom or whether they're in an online format. So figure out ways for them to stand during your instruction. Certainly standing during chants and making sure that everyone is doing the gestures along with you is really going to help out. Now, one other tip that you might want to consider is having students change their view. Now, there's kind of two schools of thought about this, depending on what your purpose is. If you are wanting everybody to stand and chant and be able to see them, like in this image, where all the students were chanting along with us and the whole class is participating together in that, then of course you would be in gallery view. But if you wanted just the teacher to be visible with whatever you're sharing on the screen, your chant in this case, this is an image from Zoom settings. Now, if you have Google or Microsoft, you'll have to check the settings of your video conferencing platform about how to do this. But in Zoom, if you indicate for students to find the view options and put it in side-by-side mode, then when it's in speaker view, only the teacher and the screen share are going to be on the screen, and that's going to help avoid distractions of whatever else is going on in the students' homes. And so here is an example of having it be on speaker view in the side-by-side mode. Notice that I'm also continuing to do the gestures because that is where we're bringing that movement piece in. Our next idea concerns how to process your chant, because even in the regular classroom, I'll tell you, when Sarah and I go to visit classrooms, if the chants are on the wall and they're all pristine and they haven't been sketched on or highlighted or written on or have picture files added, that is an indication to us that there's some language development opportunities, that's a missed opportunity there. So we want to make sure that we are embedding that processing. Here's an idea of how to do it in a distant learning setting. You can use whatever apps that you have in your arsenal, like Pear Deck or Nearpod, are two examples that a lot of teachers use. For what we're going to be showing you today, I just went really simple with, something that everybody has, which is PowerPoint. And we've been using this for, a decade or two now. So what I went ahead and did here was just uploaded my chant into a PowerPoint slide, brought in some additional pictures to use as picture file cards. And then from there, we can use the highlighting feature to process the chant just like we would in the regular classroom with students by asking them, what are some high-level words? What are words that are interesting? What are words you don't know? What are scientific words? Also, pulling in and doing that drag and drop with some additional picture files that you have preloaded in some places where you think that students might need some additional comprehensible input.
You'll notice here that we're showing you this right within PowerPoint, and we've listed other apps that you could utilize. We want you to start with what's familiar and accessible to you. And if that's PowerPoint, you go with PowerPoint. And when you have the cognitive space to look at another app, try Pear Deck or Nearpod, try Seesaw, and you'll be able to take the next step forward. But don't wait till you learn a new app to take this strategy to the point of processing. Just start right where you're at.
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. Now, to take this idea one step further, notice that it's now a fully processed chant. And this is just like we would be doing in the regular classroom, as you saw in the step 4 videos, lessons that Sarah took you through. One of the things that we're going to do now is send it down to the student level, where they're going to be able to use the chant for language development by doing their own highlights. And so the first thing that we're going to need to do for that is take our highlights off of there. And so I'm going to start with this clean chant. I can go ahead and keep the picture files on there, but I'm going to save it the way that it is now. And I want to save it as a PNG. So I'm going to actually go to export and then save it as a PNG so it turns it into a photo. I've already got one, so I'm going to replace it. And now I can upload it into my learning management system. In this case, we're going to show you in Seesaw. So I'm assigning this as an activity. I'm creating a new activity, and I'm going to put my directions in there, upload the PNG that I just created. So let me go ahead and find it here. Processing a chant. And now it's going to be uploaded as a template. So it's the background now, where students are going to be able to manipulate it. Once I've assigned it, let's go to a student view, and I'll just pretend to be a student. And you'll see now in the student view, they have access to all of these tools here. And the students are going to be able to highlight. The students are going to be able to make comments, like maybe a speech bubble. They can do sketching as well, even in color, on their chant. Another cool thing about the students being able to process the chant is that you can go beyond what your prompts of what are interesting words or words you don't know or scientific words, and you can actually bring in other ways to process. For example, you might want to give the prompt, highlight all the short A words. Highlight the words with certain prefixes or suffixes. So whatever word study or phonemic awareness you are studying in your classroom, bring that into the processing of the chants and have the students highlight and look for vocabulary and have fun with words that are related to your content. Anything else on that, Sarah, before I move on?
No, I think that's so good. The processing of the chant is really the way we move into some of those deeper level standards, as well as really enrich the vocabulary acquisition component of chants. But as Jody's going to show you, even with the next slide, chants will also help us develop the oral language fluency. So we want to do both. We want to have that processing interaction, and we want to get students chanting out loud. And just like you saw at the very beginning, when Jody was showing you ways to make that interactive whole class work with chants more effective, we want students individually to be speaking forth and practicing their fluency and that new vocabulary they're learning out loud. We love to use Flipgrid and Padlet. Now, Flipgrid is free, and it's an easy way to just start having students create videos of themselves. Padlet has many more options, and it does require a paid subscription. But if you're going to pay for an app, that's one that we would really recommend. In Padlet, you can put in there the assignment. For example, the animals hear their chant that you can see on your screen. And then we've asked students to post a video of yourself doing that chant. Students then open up, they would click on the plus sign and the 3 dots, which allows them to choose what type of interaction they're having. And here they're going to film themselves practicing that chant out loud. And students in both Padlet and Flipgrid can respond to one another's chants. They can move it forward so they're not just chanting what you've already provided, but maybe they're creating and posting chants that they've worked on as teams and individuals. One of the benefits of being in the path to proficiency is you have resources already available to take some of these extensions online with your students. So in the chants lesson and the extend and apply, we have already downloaded for you some fillable frames where you can put these into your learning management system and have students work on creating their own chants in teams or individually, and then upload not just the written form of their newly created chant, but again, the video of them chanting it out. Oral language development, oral language practice, and fluency.
And when they're using those video platforms, like say Flipgrid as an example, the students are going to be able to watch each other's videos, whether they're doing a chant that you wrote or whether they're performing their own chant. They can comment on each other's. They can do it together, go back and forth. It's really a lot of fun.
It is fun, and it's a community building experience. And we're trying to really find ways for kids to make connections with each other, as well as just the one-on-one connection with the teacher. And this is one of those entry points for that. Now, here's just 2 frames. But again, if you're in the path to proficiency, you have access to so many other frames. And in our next slide, you'll see just in the preparing materials lesson, that's where you can download the chant sample frames document. And that document contains just a variety of different frames that you can use. You can insert your own information into. Students can create their own chants from, and again, practice that language fluency as well as the vocabulary acquisition. That is such a foundational part of chants. So these are just some tips to get you going online with chants. Get them moving, get them speaking out loud, and keep building that vocabulary development.